This year, with a booming economy, we will definitely need more foreign workers so that we can create more jobs in Singapore. A few months ago, I mentioned to the press that we could need more than 100,000 foreign workers more this year. There was a big ooh, which you could almost hear. Well, since then, we've recalculated. Maybe we'll get by with a few less, perhaps 80,000 workers. But I said this to highlight the trade-off which we face and which we cannot avoid. You want higher growth, which will benefit our workers. That also means accepting more foreign workers to come and work in Singapore. You choke off the foreign workers, the economy is stifled, growth is not there, our workers will suffer. This is a very hot topic in Singapore, foreign workers and also immigration. And we've held many dialogue sessions with the grassroots, with the residents. And I think that Singaporeans understand logically, if you argue it out with them, why we need foreign workers, why we need this immigration. But they are still concerned about competition for jobs, about crowding, competing for houses or for transport on MRT, and deeper things like the character of our society. And of course, there's the psychological aspect too, the sense that they want to be valued, that make sure that Singaporeans are more valued than foreigners. And these concerns come through many other channels as well. We talk to the union leaders, they will reflect some of them. You read in the newspapers, columns, the letters which are written, sometimes it shows up. When we build workers' dormitories, we have to be very careful. We remember the sensitivities which can be aroused. Serangoon Gardens 2 years ago got very upset because things were not explained well enough. I understand these sentiments, because these are legitimate concerns which we take seriously. We don't brush them aside, but we have to weigh them against the plus side of having the foreign workers and immigrants. Why it is necessary for us to let in a controlled inflow so that we can derive benefits from it. So tonight, I can't solve the whole problem. I can't explain all aspects of this problem, but I will try and explain why staying open is going to benefit us, and how, and benefit us meaning all Singaporeans, and when there are problems, what we can do to address these problems. We are not the only country grappling with this issue, where citizens are queasy about foreign workers and immigration. There are many countries now which host significant foreign or immigrant populations. So people are coming into contact, mingling, who didn't used to mingle. There are frictions, insecurity, and political pressures which build up. So the issue has become hot in many places, many countries. Even in Japan, which has very few foreigners, in Australia, in Britain, in France, in Germany, Netherlands, even Switzerland, even the US. The US is one of the most open societies in the world. They build themselves on immigrants. But Americans have also grown uncomfortable with the influx, and especially of illegal immigrants, people who are there informally, working, no papers, but if they all leave, America is in trouble. In Houston, in Texas, where I was, the greater metropolitan area has 5 million population, about the size of Singapore. And many immigrants which contribute to a vibrant city. They have about 250,000 Chinese immigrants, maybe the same number of Indian immigrants, Latins. But it's a lively city and at the leading edge for medicine and research. The Texas Medical Center is one of the largest centers for doing research and advanced treatment in the world. Cancer, R&D, all sorts of things. 49 hospitals, universities, research centers, all clustered around Houston, full of foreign researchers. In every lab, one of the researchers told me, somewhere you will find somebody from the PRC. And I'm sure there'll be somebody from India and others too. But they are there, they are making it happen. I met business and city leaders in Houston, and they said that the Texas political leaders had shown courage, keeping the state open to immigrants. And whenever neighboring states like California or Arizona clamped down and tightened up, pushed out the immigrants, Texas would collect some of the good ones and would benefit. Doesn't mean that Texas doesn't face problems because of this, but overall, because they've stayed open, it's been a plus for them. And they hope that Texas would continue to stay open. I also met Bill Gates of Microsoft on the trip. Microsoft is an IT company, you will know about it. The kind of business which we want to be as Singapore. Knowledge intensive, innovation intensive, depending on talent and looking to the future. So I asked Bill Gates, where do you do your research? And he told me. I'll show you the map. I'll just show you the dots. And if you study the map, you'll find very interesting where they have gone to do research. They have research centers in America, because Microsoft is an American company. They have research centers elsewhere in the world, because you have to tap talent everywhere. Where are they in America? Redmond, Washington State, up in the northwest. Why? Because the Microsoft headquarters is there. And it's a good place to live. Where else are they? Down in Silicon Valley, where the brain power is, lots of IT talent, lots of Indians and Chinese and others. They've gone chasing that. They are in Cambridge, in New England. That's where Harvard and MIT and other universities are, like Princeton. Overseas, where are they? Cambridge, England, because of the University of Cambridge. Bangalore, India, because of the IT companies and the Indian IT talent. And we are there too. We have an IT, JTC has built, what do they call it? The Bangalore IT, it's a tech park for the IT business here in Bangalore and in Beijing, because they got Tsinghua, they got Beijing Daxue, and they have all the talent from China in Beijing. So they go where the talent is. But there's one more interesting point about this slide. If you're zoomed in carefully on Redmond, you'll find that it's two spots. One on the American side of the border in Redmond, the other one on the Canadian side of the border in Vancouver. Why are they in Vancouver? Because the Americans restrict visas for professionals. So when Microsoft wants to bring in IT talent to Redmond, they can't get enough H-1B visas, which is what professionals need to work in America. So instead, they go to Canada, because Canada welcomes these skilled workers, open arms. And if the person has a 100,000 Canadian dollar job offer, which is about 100,000 US dollars, then practically stapled to that job offer is an offer of a Canadian green card. So because of the difference in policies, America has lost out, Canada has gained. Bill Gates told me that globally, 1/3 of the researchers are Chinese in Microsoft, 1/3 of the researchers are Indian people. Recently, he attended a presentation of awards to 12 top Microsoft employees, those who had the top confidential report staff assessment rankings. Out of the 12 names, he could only pronounce one, Chris Jones. Without help. All the others were foreign-born and many of them were Asian. So what's the lesson for us? That immigration and foreign talent are difficult issues everywhere. They pose very real political problems and social problems. But if we can manage these political and social challenges, then the benefits to us are substantial. So let me sketch you briefly why it's important for us to stay open. First, because we need talent. We need to gain talent. It makes a tremendous difference to us doing critical work in our economy, helping Singapore to become an outstanding city. We have very good people, but never enough. And therefore, we need to draw from all over the world to supplement our local pool. You take professionals, for example, architects. There are lots of talented young architects in Singapore. Recently, URA held an exhibition, 20 Under 45. And they published a little book showcasing the outstanding works by 20 young architects below 45 years old. The majority of the architects are native Singaporeans, although quite a few are foreign-born. And the foreign-born ones include the two architects who built the Pinnacle. Husband and wife team, the husband, Mr. Khoo Peng Beng, is from Ipoh, now a PR. The wife, Belinda Huang, is from Selangor, now a Singapore citizen. They won a design competition to build on the Duxton Plains site, and the result is one of the most sought-after HDB projects in Singapore. In fact, we don't have enough pinnacles, and so many voters and residents want us to build some more. For the local architect, you might consider this foreign competition. Too fierce, unfair. But for Singaporeans, and especially for the residents of Pinnacles, we benefit. We get a better living environment, we get a more beautiful city. And I think even our own architects benefit, because from the competition, from that stimulus, we will do better and we will produce better works too. Take sports talent as another example. We're grooming our own. Our young sportsmen have done very well in the YOG, the Young Olympians. And in some sports, we are near the top in the world rankings, like sailing or bowling. This is Jasmine, who's the women's champion 2 years ago, and last year was our Sportswoman of the Year. But in other sports, we still need to draw on new citizens, like table tennis. We are very proud of Isabel, who won a silver medal in the YOG. But we have too few Isabels. And so we have topped up. And our women's team has done very well. They won the silver at the Beijing Olympics. Here you see them receiving their medals. In Moscow, at the World Team Table Tennis Championships, they beat China to win the gold medal. And here you see Feng Tianwei celebrating. Our team players may not have been born here. I don't think they speak good Singlish. But they've chosen this place to be their home. They are playing for Singapore, flying the flag for Singapore, and when they win, the band plays Majulah Singapura. So we should cheer for them. Just as we cheer for all of our national sportsmen. So that's the first reason for needing this. IMIC talent is critical to us. The second reason is we need reinforcements to grow our economy and create better jobs for Singaporeans. The foreign workers supplement our ranks and enable us to build successful companies. You take Keppel and Sembcorp again. They are world beaters. Together, they employ 20,000 people in Singapore, of whom 5,000 are Singaporeans. The other 15,000 are foreign workers, professionals. Without the foreign workers, the Singaporean jobs wouldn't exist. Of course, the converse is true too. Without the Singaporean brains working the system and bringing the foreign workers together and organizing them, the foreign worker jobs wouldn't exist either. So they are complementary to each other. The shipyards employ foreign workers and professionals from many countries all over the world. You just take a look, some of the flags where the countries are. Asia, we would not be surprised. Europe, you would not be surprised. Russia, South Africa, Brazil, Chile.